Please join me in welcoming the director of The Smashing Machine, Benny Safdie.
Oh my goodness. Thank you everybody for being here. This is just amazing. Just bear with me. There's a bunch of people here that I want to introduce you to and I want to call out. But so I'm going to call some people out on the stage, and the first person I want to call out is the reason we're all here tonight. Mark Kerr, the man himself. Come on out. Amazing. Look at this guy. Oh, incredible. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. And then I also got to call up the great Baz Rutten, boss, as Mark says. Here he is. Yes. The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk, who plays Igor Vovchanchin in the movie. Yes. Amazing. The one and only Ryan Bader, Bellator champion, who plays Mark Coleman. And of course, the great Emily Blunt, who plays Dawn Staples in the movie. And last, but certainly not least, Dwayne Johnson, who plays Mark Kerr in this movie. And just very briefly, I just want to point out some people in the audience. You know, everyone from A24 who believed in this movie and allowed us to tell it exactly as we wanted to. We got producers Hiram Garcia and David Copeland. Stand up. We got, I'm so happy that we have Dawn Staples, the real Dawn Staples, in the audience today. Please stand up. And their beautiful son, Bryce, stand up. Oh my God. And of course the legend Mark Coleman. Stand up, Mark. We've got Crystal and Christian Bailey, our on-set sound recordists, Paul Chang, who plays Sataki, Sean Devereaux, the VFX supervisor. We got two of our Canadian casting directors, Kara and Chris, who worked with Maureen. Lindsay Gavin, who plays Elizabeth Coleman, and John Greenall, who made the original Smash Machine documentary. Yeah. He's here tonight, which is amazing. And also Greg Rementer, who is our stunt coordinator, who after this movie you're going to want to clap even harder for. And also, I'm just very happy to say, in the audience tonight, I have a teacher who Josh and I took a class with on realism in film. And everything I learned in that class is on display in this movie. So Ted Barron, if you could stand up, please. Oh. This is just, it's so special for me to have everybody here tonight. And I'm so happy to share this movie with you. It was an exercise in empathy. I wanted to understand your life, Mark. I wanted to feel it, and I wanted everybody here to feel it. So I hope you all can learn from the experience, everything we learned. So thank you very much. And thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you're the best. All right. Enjoy the show. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the Q&A. Please help me welcome the team of The Smashing Machine. Director Benny Safdie.
Thank you.
Mark Kerr. Baz Rutten. Alexander Usyk. Ryan Bader. Emily Blunt. And Dwayne Johnson. Thank you for being here. Woo! Benny. Yeah. It's your solo directing debut. You just won Best Director in Venice for this.
Thank you.
What drew you to tell this story and in such an intimate and stripped down way?
Well, first, I forgot to mention Maceo Bishop, the cinematographer, is in the crowd. So, yeah. You know, it was just that there was something about Mark and his vulnerability and his strength and just his willingness to try and understand his emotions, however complicated they were. And I don't know, I fell in love with him through the documentary, and I just kind of really and Dwayne, we saw something in him that like we all kind of like understood each other without talking to each other. And then when we started talking to each other, it's like, oh my God, we all feel the same kind of stuff about life, and even though we're from different places. And it really was just trying to like, I wanted people to feel like what it was like to be him and what he was going through. And I wanted to empathize with that feeling of what it's like to be a fighter doing this, you know? So I was driven to get inside of his head.
Dwayne, you and Mark met early in your wrestling career, and you kept in touch. At what point in your acting career did you think, this is a person who I might want to portray, and I'd love it if, Mark, you talked about how it feels to see this interpretation on the big screen?
First off, thank you. I appreciate being here probably more than anybody knows. Thank you. You know, for me, I could never imagine this would come to fruition. Like, 20 plus years ago when I met DJ and we crossed paths. We were in completely different trajectories in our lives. He goes on to be The Rock, and there's very few places on the planet you can go that people don't know who he is. And so to even think for 1 minute that he would have an interest in playing me, but the understanding is, we talked about it, just where he was and where he is and what he felt he needed to do to kind of take a different path in his career. This was like the perfect vehicle for him. It allowed him to be completely something that nobody else expects. And it's difficult. I mean, it's just difficult, especially when people are like, you're only this, you're only that. You can't be this, you can't be that. I mean, I would tell him, I go, you don't have to do this. and he said the same thing every time and goes, yes, I do. I got to. And then when you add everybody together, it just turns into this, like Benny was saying, it's this incredible connection. And talking to DJ this last time around, it was when we started talking in the end of 2023, it was a completely different connection space we were in. And, he goes, I'm gonna take this on, and it was just like, okay, but not completely understanding like really what he was gonna do. First time I ever saw him, dressed in prosthetics and stuff, they didn't tell me they were gonna do this. Like, then they go, oh, we're going to do prosthetics, and he's going to have your cauliflower ear and all that. They didn't say any of that. And I'm standing in the arena, and I turn around, and he's standing right behind me, and it's me. But there's like I'm standing there, and I'm going, all I can do is cuss at him. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm fucking good. And it was just so surreal. So anyways, I don't even think I answered your question.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, you know, for Mark, now after you've seen him talk and now you've seen him being portrayed in the movie, it's not so much of a stretch that you understand why we wanted to tell the Mark story, because, you know, even though at one time Mark was the greatest fighter on the planet and lethal, and he was all these things, but yet at the same time, he was this walking contradiction, as you could see, between being this incredible fighter, but also just a really beautiful human being who was loving and kind and sweet, and yes, and also in ways broken and just trying. And I remember very early, Benny said to Emily and I, you know, I'm obsessed with this idea of just trying and what it's like to try. And, you know, regardless of what situation you're in, if you just try, imagine what the world would be like if you just tried to be something or do something. And, you know, really that's what Mark really, he embodies that. So it was an honor for me. And I want to say for you now, Mark, like, your life changed mine. And thank you so much, brother. And I love you so much. Thank you.
You talk about Mark being a beautiful soul and so kind, and one of the things that was so striking about this film is it's about a very brutal sport, and you are somebody that dominated this sport for quite a while, but the depiction of the men in this film, and Emily as well, is so supportive. And everyone is quite gentle. And when Mark is in trouble, especially his relationship with you, Ryan, is just so nurturing. And the contrast was really instructive. Can you talk a little bit about making a UFC film with such gentle men?
Well, the thing is like what I learned talking to everybody is that there is really a very close connection between them. Everybody knows what it takes to go in there, and everybody has a kind of a unified feeling, right? And all the stories, these guys are friends. They travel together. They care for each other. Yes, they're going in and fighting one another, but there's a real love and affection amongst them, and I love that side of it, you know, and getting to see it and talk to everybody. It was very important. Like, I've done like a little bit of boxing, but like just like very like low, just trying to be just attempting to throw a punch. But if you go in there and you really want to try, the gym is going to take you in, and they're going to really accept you. And it's like you spar with somebody and they punch you in the face, and you're like, thank you. You know, it's a really weird feeling. It's an amazing feeling that you can't really describe. You could just feel, and like I'm sure that you guys could talk to it. You know.
There's no deeper bond than, you know, a friendship that when you're in the gym every day, sweating, bleeding with that person, and you get to see the true person in them when they're tired and they're beaten. And, you know, I hope a lot of people get to experience that outside of this world we're in. But we all have a great bond, and people look at us, oh, we're in the cage, we're fighting, we must like to hurt people. I like to compete, and a lot of us up here just wanted to compete. And we are other people outside of that cage, and people have that misconception that we're those people, but we're family men, you know, we're good friends, you know, we're there for each other. And that bond that you form in the gym that's what we do it for, and the camaraderie. And a lot of people miss that when they get out of athletics or whatnot. And these guys are my lineage. I come from an amateur wrestling background, and we got thrown into the deep water halfway not knowing what to do. We could wrestle well, we couldn't throw a punch well, right? You know, and it was cool to see the pioneers, you know, of where I came from, and these are my legends, right? And it was an honor to play legend out here, Mark Coleman.
Love you, Mark.
Dawn is a formidable woman in this movie, and she helps to organize Mark's life as a wrestler as well, and they have a bit of a volatile.
It was a fly.
It was a fly.
We're not just randomly shadowboxing up here.
They have a volatile relationship, but they're also quite dependent on each other. Can you talk a little bit about carving out a space for Dawn in this arena?
Hi, Dawn. Love you.
Dawn.
I mean, the reason I feel that I was able to have carved out a specific space for her was because of her generosity to me and my endless intrusive questions that I asked her, and she was so kind and open in revealing, you know, cracking open her ribcage to me as to what went on and the ups and downs of their relationship. And I think what I found so heart-wrenching and so essential in trying to portray with my, the sweetest friend on earth here, is is that I really felt both Mark and Dawn really were striving for a happy medium that just eluded them over and over, and I found it just heart-wrenching. I could feel it from both of them and what they shared with DJ and I, and that really was the aim. You know, people don't always behave as you'd like. We don't always behave as we would like, and human beings fluctuate within 30 minutes. And it was a space and a movie with a director, with a co-star that allowed for this hopefully full weather system of a relationship that maybe we can see ourselves in, you know, but I think she was in that cage with him. And I think she was with a very dedicated fighter and a very dedicated athlete, and I think that if you need everyone to get in line with that, maybe she's not the kind of girl to always get in line, but it's what I love about you. And I think it was just the most exciting honor to play Dawn and work with DJ in this way and work with Benny and all of you guys.
Dwayne, you've talked about this role allowing you to take your acting to places you had never been before. I'm wondering if the ability to disappear into the makeup and prosthetics liberated you to kind of take some risks and maybe be very generous with yourself and empathetic with yourself as well.
Well, the transformation to become Mark Kerr was a physical transformation, number one, and Benny had said to me early, he said, you know, I don't know if you've ever been told this, but you're gonna have to gain weight and get bigger. I went, okay, I understand what you're saying, just give me 24 hours, let me understand. And then so I went back and I came back to Benny and I said, I understand what you're looking to do and what you need and what the role requires. Mark, at one time, as all of you men and ladies know on the stage and everyone now knowing, at one time his body was that of just this rare air Adonis that was just an incredible body that was built through hard work and sweat and respect, but also fast twitch fibers, and it was a lot of hard work that I put in to become Mark, gratefully. Then also there was the voice transformation, because Mark speaks, as you know, in a very soft, beautiful, kind, gentle, tender soul. And Liz Stein, I'm going to get that right. She's here, Liz.
Liz.
Where are you, Liz? She's my voice coach, and Emily's too as well. Thank you, Liz. There was a voice transformation, but also the prosthetics transformation from Kazuhiro, who won an award last night from TIFF. Kazu, I don't know if you're here, but congratulations. Who certainly helped me get into, it was, I would say one of the anchoring things was to get the prosthetics, 13 to 14 prosthetics, as we like to joke, 4 hours of really subtlety every single day of sitting in the chair. But I gotta say, the transforming into Mark Kerr was, for me, there is a fly up here. It was really the opportunity of a lifetime, and I had waited for this opportunity for such a long time to do something where I just challenged myself, and I pushed for more, and I wanted more, and I had a co-star in one of my best friends, and Emily, who encouraged me and believed me, and I had Benny Safdie, who says, you can do it, and come with me, and come with us, and I believe in both of you guys to do this. And then finally, I had a guy in Mark Kerr who lived a life so we can feel it. And as you guys know, with movies like this, it's not always the case where the people who you're portraying are around and they're alive. And not only that, but I realized something, we talked about this earlier, and Benny, we talked about this. Everybody who you saw in the movie at that time, 20, 25 years ago, everybody you saw in the movie, they're all here and they're all doing great. And I love that.
It's the best.
Talking about challenging, DJ challenging himself, I think this is a funny story to say, because I'm in the dressing room. I'm over here, I'm talking to Yoko Hamamura, who plays Fujita, who's the guy who beat him at the very end. And he says to Yoko, he says, Yoko, that left hook that you're going to land, I just land it, you know, just make it like 70%, like a freaking good punch. I want the audience to feel that I really want to do this. And he goes, nah, I'm not going to do that. And he goes, no, I'm asking you, you're going to have to do that. I'm just sitting here, and they go back and forth and back and forth. No, you have to do it, and please do it. And no,
But by the way, because Benny said, I don't want to cut away. I want to keep the camera on you, so.
So finally, I get fed up. I go, hey, Yoko, come on, it's The Rock. Hit him in the freaking hat, okay? And DJ goes, whoa, take a step back here. You know, because Yoko's a professional fighter. He says, you can hit me hard, but don't knock me out. Well, that punch is in the trailer, and every time I see it, I laugh, because he hit you hard.
By the way, I said, listen, Benny said, I don't want to cut away. This is the final moment. By the way, in real life, Mark Kerr in that moment, he couldn't move. He really just couldn't move his body, and he got rocked. But he was with it, and his wits were with it, and his eyes were open, and he was getting rocked. And so Benny said, hey, I don't want to cut away. Do you think you could do this? And I told our guy, I said, hey, you got to hit me. You're going to have to really rock me and rock the shit out of me. You're going to have to do this. And Big Mouth Boz over here is like, oh, just go hit him. He's The Rock. And he did, by the way. So you'll see in the movie where I look dazed, it's real. So, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, I know a good ending when I hear it, so I'll just say, Mark, we're so happy to have you here, and we're thrilled that you brought this film to Toronto. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Thank you, Toronto.
Thank you so much.